yesterday I was told that you were asking for time to go around. And I said, how soon do you want to start? And he told me that you were ever ready, that you had just come from Lokoja. I said, okay, I'm not going to be the one to delay your programs. But you can even come today. And I fixed the 4 o'clock appointment, and at 4 I waited, I didn't see any sign of you, so I said, let me go and say my prayers. And so I'm happy that you are finally here. And your mission is noble. Your intention is even more noble. Because in the main religions, emphasis is placed on gratitude. In Islam, that I'm more familiar with than the Christian one, it is stated that if you don't thank your human being benefactor, you cannot thank God. And God also insists that although there's nothing he's doing with our thanks, our thank can't, we can't give him any progress by thanking him or denigrate him by not thanking him. But he still makes it compulsory that we should thank him. And that shows why being grateful is very important in human affairs. If Gov Bello, as governor of Kogi State, he started by ensuring that his entire cabinet were youth dominated. And then he started what he called the New Direction system, whereby all the old idiosyncrasies are worked out through programs, through genuine interactions, and through even development across the state. Anytime he's doing appointments, he makes sure that it is well spread across the state, and he leaves no area neglected. So I think this is, recently he established 2 more universities. He met one, and the one he met, he never neglected it. He beefed it up, and then established 2 brand new universities that have been accredited by the National University Commission. This is not very, very common. Most states are just struggling to have just 1 university. And now that he had 2, and then he now had 3. Because the earnings for university in open land was so loud and so protracted that any listening government would like to do something about it. It would have been enough if it was some people to just declare that a university will be there and it will not be followed up. But he followed it up so rigorously and vigorously that the university has been officially approved. They are just preparing for the first matriculation now, which I think is a record. So I hope our youths will not let this young man down, who has devoted so much. He's not the first youth to be in government. We've been having youths in government. Maybe you have forgotten. General Yakubu Gowon was 32 years when he became the head of state of Nigeria. Opara, Michael Opara, was 39 years when he became premier of Eastern Nigeria, which consists of both southeast and south-south of today. David Bamiboye was 28 years when he became governor of Kwara, where we came from. And Governor Dietis Spiff was 27 years old when he became governor of Old River State, which includes Bayelsa. And all these people, they did very, very, very well because they established the states. There was a regional government and the intention to diffuse it into state government started with them. And they made a success of that experiment. So much so that more states were later created from the 12 states. Babangida himself was not too old when he became military president of Nigeria. So youths have been having opportunities, but to what extent have they been very, very mindful of raising the well-being and the status of the youths? This is where Gov Bello has given them a very big edge. So when I saw this program, I was deeply impressed that this thought has come and we are doing something like this. Because this will encourage others who are coming, not only to stick to some of the things he has done, but to even try to surpass, because one good turn, they say, deserves another. So I think what you want to do is very good. And during the last council inauguration, he insisted that all the position of vice chairman in all the local governments should go to women.
Yes, sir.
And then that the secretary of the council should be the coordinator of the youth council. Although there are some little variations,
Yes.
like here, because we are so conscious of clan equity and so on, it could not happen here. But all the same, the coordinator was still given a slot in the council. And I am happy that you people have seen the value that this exposure has brought to the council, because at least you have 21 experienced people in your council, and some of the women may even be members of your council as well, if they are youth as well. So you really have a lot to be thankful to him for. And what you are trying to do now is to encourage the incoming administration to continue and improve on this foundation that he has laid, so that it will grow from strength to strength. I think it's a very good idea, and it is an idea that most of your members and supporters would like to associate with and join forces with you for its success. Unfortunately, I'm not a money man. All my life, I never looked for money. I don't care that I don't have. And I'm always contented, even when I have nothing. And that is why most people wonder why I'm always cheerful and so on. I believe so much in God, and I believe that it is God who gives, and God has shown his hand in my life.
Mashallah.
I have been very, very, very badly maltreated by some disgruntled people in this place. And one example was when they burnt this house down during just the sort of thing that happened for Ajaka recently in the east. It happened here. And they burnt this house down, and there were 32 of us that were leaders of PDP that time, including Dr. Umar Farooq Abdulaziz, who had just died. All our properties were razed down, including General Abakar Yusuf, who tried to buy for Umar recently. All our properties were vandalized and destroyed because we were alleged to have worked against the emergence of an Ibira governor. I was not even in the state. I don't know what actually happened and so on. They said I was at the INEC office and that Ibro had volunteered to step down for Senator Oyaro, and I pushed him and stopped him from doing it. And so I don't know where this kind of meeting can ever take place. So they burned down this house, and fortunately all my properties are insured. Maybe because I've had a life of insurance at the beginning of my career. My first job was commercial manager of the Gateway Insurance Company owned by the old Kwara State government. Then later I even became the chairman of that organization. So I always insure my properties, and that was what helped me. Otherwise, all my life saving that I sunk here would have gone for good. But God, that is always a better planner than all human beings. I suddenly remember that I had an insurance cover. Then I approached them and looked for claims, and they paid me handsomely, and I started the rehabilitation work. Fortunately, I had used red brick for this house, and while it was being burnt, the brick was getting stronger. That's the big advantage of brick. Otherwise, it would have fallen down. So when the architects and the QS and the structural engineers came to check, the actual integrity of the structure was still intact. So all we needed to do was to just rehabilitate it and so on and so forth. So it cost us less. And it is from that experience that I almost vowed that any further house I'm going to be involved in will be red brick. So if you go to my house in Kaduna now, you find it's a red brick house. If you can look at my house in Jabi in Abuja, it's also red brick. So it is the experience of this place that made me spread the red brick technology. I had completely seen the practical value of it. So as for your program, I will definitely encourage its success. I have always been benefiting from youth groups. As a student of the university or even secondary school, I participated in almost all the societies. And I was one time the president of the Students' Union of Alhaji Bello University's area. And at the end of my course, I was the president of the Kwara State Students' Union at Alhaji Bello University. And that was what brought me in close contact with late General David Bamboy, who was then the governor of Kwara State. And during the regime of Abakar Audu, the Kogi Students Association made me a patron. And since then, they have not yet sacked me. I'm still a patron. And the most notorious of them is the Ahmad Bello University Law Students Association. I'm not a lawyer, but they took advantage of my son who was studying law about 4 years ago and came and said they made me a life patron. And every year when they are holding their law week, they will come and take me down there to Zaria, and then we'll get a lot of my well-wishers to come and, celebrate with them. And somehow, the people who come also make some handsome donations for them, which they have found very, very useful. So I thank you all for recognizing me, because it's just a recognition. And then when the Adult Youth Council started and they approached me, I was in the bank in Lagos then, and they made me a patron, and later they said it's a life patron too. So we've been getting on together from one executive to the other, and so on and so forth. So I'm very happy that the Youth Council has become lively in Kogi State. And it is more lively in this state than in many other states.
Yes, sir.
Because I have contact with many of the states. And for instance, I'm not so aware of the strength of the Youth Council in Kaduna State, for instance. And I'm always going to Kaduna. Or even in the FCT, where I also...
Yes. The chairman of Kaduna State Youth Council lives in Abuja.
So at least that you people are maintaining these records. I'm personally very impressed.
Thank you.
And I hope that you will not relent, and you will become a shining example for the other people to follow. Because a good thing starts from one place and it spreads. So let this good story spread from Kogi State across. And I'm happy that our executive governor has encouraged you by partnering with you, and then it has also worked for him, because you can see how he was celebrated at the last Kogi State Polytechnic convocation. Hardly have I seen it for a long time now, because with the hunger in the land and the anger in the land, state executives are not cannot be embraced like he was embraced that day. Some students even came with placards and commending him and so on. And then the polytechnic with its population, no record of students rioting.
Yes.
I think these are very, very big achievements that people who are involved deserve commendation. I want to take this opportunity to commend the rector of the Polytechnic, Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Obo, because I think he too must have been very meticulous to adopt a preventive strategy in student management. Because what he will do is to find out what are the needs of the students, call them and discuss with them. Discussing with them doesn't mean that he will offer all they want. He will say, okay, this is all we can offer. Next time, we'll look at this area and so on. The dialogue has been very, very workable because of the approach of the management. If the management stay there and start saying, well, you have no right to this, no right to this, and they are just reeling out what they have no right to do, it will not, the cordiality will not be the same. And sometimes that you even dialogue with somebody can help to appease them. I was in Arewa Textiles, Kaduna, when we had 4,000 workers on 3 shifts. Another colleague of mine from this state, Paul Achimigo, was also there with me, we were colleagues. But I was in charge of personnel and industrial relations. And throughout my stay there was no threat of strike one day. Not to talk of the strike. Then I moved from there to Pojo, which was having strike every 3 months. The day I resumed in Pojo was the day they wanted to burn down the place, and workers came with petrol in jerrycan because of the problem of bonus payment. When they said I should go and be an observer in the union management meeting, I said, I'm just coming here, I don't know anything. So I got there. The Adams Oshomoles of this world, who was with us in the textiles, had already penetrated to tell them what kind of person I was and so on. So they developed some confidence in me without knowing me. And they gave me that benefit of the doubt. And I was happy I didn't disappoint them. Because I literally took over the meeting just from saying, do this. I found myself literally leading the meeting. And then we ended up less than the management of Fujo was prepared to give them. We settled for less than that. And then I said to the workers, every time you're talking of your own personal benefits, this year we're not going to look at just your personal benefits. We can afford to look at your wives in the house. So I went to my former place of work, the textiles, my former constituency, and negotiated for them to sell some atampa, the prints, the women prints for them, and they were very, very cheap, and they gave us discount. So even though we gave them these, these physical gifts, the price was really nothing to write home about. It didn't change the equation at all. So we still paid them what we wanted to pay them for the bonus, But in addition, we give them
With the gifts.
one
Respect
son to take to their
wives.
wives in the house. And this was even much more appreciated than
Yes.
than the benefit. So when the Hassan Sumonus of this world wanted to organize the national strike in support of the national minimum wage, our workers on their own met and came to me and said they are not going to join the strike. Because to start with, their salary was already more than the minimum wage they are talking about. So what are they going to strike for? They have nothing to benefit. And I didn't instigate them. They themselves came to me and said, sir, we are not going to participate. And that day, we used to produce 300 cars every day. That day, they produced 360 cars. And, to show that they were in solidarity with management. So Sumono was dispatched to Kaduna because they wanted to show the effectiveness of the strike, and Fujo was the leading workplace. So when Fujo refused, it was we had killed them all together. And later, I and Sumono became very, 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 but that day they were not able to get their way and so on. So I have, as I said, been interacting with youths for a very long time, and they have never disappointed me, and I have no cause to be aggressive to youths, and it always gives me pleasure to give them guidance, and I believe that if our youths can muster courage and remain focused and forthright, this country will go places.
Sure.
I was telling just on Independence Day, AIT said they wanted me to come for a program. I said I didn't have time, I was on my way to Kaduna. I said, okay, they would like to do a Zoom program for me. I said, okay. So they were asking me, what do I think about the country? And I said, our president is wasting too much time looking for foreign direct investment. No investor will come to Nigeria in our president's insecurity status. He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Let him just sit down and work on the way to get this insecurity off our back. I said you will see investors running, and in fact, it will be you who will say, no, we'll take you, we don't want you, and so on. If we can just get the home right, correct, other things will just fall in line and so on. And just about 4 days ago, AIT again invited me to discuss security that is getting worse. And I said to them, well, in our state here, our governor brought this initiative of hunters being part of the security architecture. And it has worked, especially in this our area. The kidnappers who are even of Fulani origin, not even the local ones, they fear the hunters more than the soldiers in uniform. I'm not even talking of the police. So I said others should also explore this and see what can be done in order to find a solution. So I'm very much with you when you said that the former accountant general, because you will not feel free. You're always thinking like, this gentleman will know about that deal. I agree, though. I don't know where he's coming from. So you are always nervous. But anybody who knocks at my out of anything, wherever he is from, I'll say come in. I'll say come in. I don't have any hangover at all. Thank you very much for coming. And I want to accept I want to humbly accept your offer of going to thank you very much. With a lot of gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
And I wish you the very best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.